All right. This video is going to go over the Chapter 12 review packet, starting with 12.3. This is part 3. And to do this, I'm actually going to erase this one here to get more room. There we go. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and start with number 1. This is law of sines, which looks like this. So sine A over A equals sine B over B equals sine C over C. For any triangle ABC, uppercase letters are vertices or angles, and lowercase letters are opposite each angle and represent the lengths of the sides. So with number 1, this is going to have to do with the area equation for number 1 and 2, and then 4 and 5 are a law of sines. The area equation is, for this one, the area equation is 1/2 AB sine C. And that is for, like, I want to kind of get some room here so I can actually work. Okay, there we go. 1/2 AB sine C, and that's for a triangle where you have A, B, and angle C. So you can see angle C is in between A and B. That's a side angle side triangle. So the area for 1 is 1/2 times 15 times 17 times the sine of 17 degrees. Now you could, if you forget the equation, you can draw the altitude of the triangle and then find the height. And the height will end up being 15 sine 17. And so you can see this 15 sine 17 is the height, and 7. Where did 17 come from? Wow. Okay. That's funny. Unfortunately, if I erase it, I end up, like I said, the angle. Where'd that come from? Hold on. Okay, so 15 times 21, there we go, times sine 17. Okay, so as I was saying, the height here, if you draw the height or the altitude of it, then the altitude's going to be 15 sine 17. The base is 21. This is really the same thing as 1/2 base times height. So that is the area, and when you calculate it out, you should get about 46 centimeters squared. Let's just verify that. 0.5 times 15 times 21 times sine 17. If you're not getting 46, make sure that your calculator is in degree mode, not radian mode. Just press the mode button, go down until you see degree and radian, make sure degree is selected. Okay, number 2, it's an isosceles triangle, making this 8.7. Now you might think, oh, well, that would be 8.7 times 8.7 times sine 70. But no, it does not work, because you can see here, the angle C is in between the two sides. So we need to figure out what this is, right? So that would be C, A, and B, right? C, A, and B. And so you can kind of see then, we need to find that. How are we going to do that? Well, it turns out that because it's isosceles, this angle here is also 70, which makes this 40. So that's going to mean your area is equal to 1/2 times 8.7 times 8.7 times the sine of 40 degrees. And when you multiply that out, you'll get about 34. I think. Hold on, nope, I misspoke. 24. There we go. 24 meters squared. Okay. 8.7 times 8.7 times 0.5 times a sine of 40. Yep, that's what it is. Okay. Now we are rounding to the nearest square unit right here, which means the nearest whole number. That's why it's 24 and 46. Okay, that is 1 and 2. For the next two problems, we will be going back and using this law of sines here. When doing law of sines, in order to do it, you have to make sure you have an angle side pair, which means you know an angle and the opposite side, right? A lowercase and uppercase letter of the same. And then we're going to pick any two of these three to use when doing it. So if we go here, let's see, we know angle M, and I'll just go ahead and say that I'll call this like A and little a, right? And so I can see that sine A over A equals sine M over M. Okay. So that's going to mean that sine 51 over 17 equals sine 40 over M. And I'll go ahead and go over here. So this is number 4. So that means sin 51 over 17 equals sin 40 over M. Now, when M's on the bottom, I personally like to just flip both fractions so that the M is in the numerator of the fraction, and then I'll multiply both sides by sine 40. 17 sine 40 over sine 51 equals M, and I did that by multiplying both sides by sine 40. And then just plug it into your calculator, and you get, let's see, number 4, should get about 14 centimeters. Okay. So the angle side pair in this one, right, is this one. That's your angle side pair. Now, what about in 5, right? If you look at 5, what's the angle side pair for 5? Well, let's see. We have 12 and 22 here, right? Oops. 12 and 22. So that is your angle side pair. And I'm going to go ahead and do really having issues with that. So a really thin one so I can see it better. Okay. Let's use a different color here. This is going to be 5. So for this one, let's call this angle P. And let's call this big A and little a. So sine of A over A equals sine of P over P. Okay, so sine 22 over 12 equals sine 32 over P. Okay. So what's next? Well, again, P is in the numerator here. So to solve this, what I'm going to do is flip both fractions. And then multiply both sides by sine 32. That's going to cancel. And when you multiply that out, you will get about 17 centimeters. Let's go ahead and put that answer there then. There we go. And that is number 5. Okay, now with number 7 and 9. So with 7 and 9, we're doing the same thing. We're going to use law of sines, but this time we're trying to find an angle. So again, I have an angle side pair, so that tells me that I am going to use law of sines. And let's go ahead and set this up. So that would be, I'll go ahead and go back to black here. So sine A over A equals, let's see here, let's find angle C first because we have side C. So sine C over C. So that's going to be sine of 81 degrees divided by 29 equals sine of angle C divided by 16, right? Because this is C, A, and B. And so, let's see. Oh, multiply both sides by 16. That's 16 sine 81 over 29 equals sine C. And then what you're going to do is put that in your calculator. So 16 sine 81 divided by 29. That's 0.5449. Okay. Now, if you recall to do this, what you're going to do is inverse sine this then. So that's going to mean that sine inverse of 0.5449 will equal angle C. So what you'll get then is, for number 7, 66 degrees for B. Oh, no, this is 33 degrees for angle C. And so 33 degrees will be approximately equal to angle C. So to get angle B, so B will equal 180 minus 81 minus 33, which equals 66. All right, number 9. Again, we're using law of sines because we do have an angle side pair. This is going to be lowercase l, this is lowercase k, and this is lowercase m. So which one of the two are we going to use? Well, we know that we need to use sine L over L. And since we have side k, let's use angle k. Let's find that first. Okay, so sine 78 over 105 equals sine angle k over side k, and multiply both sides by 106. And so you get 106 sine 78 over 105 equals sine k. Okay, so 106 sine 78 divided by 105, and we get 0.987, approximately equal to sine k. Make sure to always do at least 3 decimal points when rounding. So we'll do second sine, and we should get about 81 degrees. Yep. So inverse sine this number. And then there we go. And then next, m equals 180 minus 78 minus 81, 21 degrees. Done with that one. Okay. Finally, number 10 here. A large helium balloon is tethered to the ground by two taut lines. One line is 100 feet long and makes an 80-degree angle with the ground. The second line makes a 40-degree angle with the ground. How long is the second line to the nearest foot? How far apart are the tethers? So you have two taut lines. So we'll call this line 1. We'll call this line 2. One line's 100 feet long and makes an 80-degree angle with the ground. So you have, this is the ground, and 80-degree angle, 100 feet. The other one's about 40 degrees. And this is 40 degrees. How long is the second line to the nearest foot? How far apart are the tethers? So I'll just call this A, B. Actually, I think balloon should be B, shouldn't it? And we'll call that C. That's little a, little b, little c. Okay. So we do have an angle side pair here. So then that's going to mean that sine C over C equals sine, well, we know the 80-degree angle, so let's go ahead and find that first. Sine A over A. Okay, so we need a little bit more room here. I'm going to go ahead and take a minute to white this part out here. Okay, so that's sine of 40 over 100 equals sine 80 over A. And flip both fractions again. And then multiply both sides by sine 80. Okay, so what do we get when we do that? Get about 153 feet. So A is about 153 feet. And to find the other one, we will need to know the angle. This is 180 plus 40 is 120. So this angle here would be 60 degrees. 180 minus 80 minus 40 is 60. So for this one, we'll do sine C over C equals sine B over B. So sine 40 over 100 equals sine 60 over B. All right, so again, flip the fractions. And multiply both sides by sine 60. And when we do that, we get about 135 feet. There we go. Those are our answers. This is the second line. And this is there we go. Cool. All right, I'll go ahead and stop there, and we'll do 12.4 in the next video.